Welcome to Homicide the Podcast.
Homicide the Podcast is the place to hear all of your favorite true crime stories, all told with a little gay spin. I'm Kevin.
And I'm Brandon.
And we're two married gay dudes who like to gossip, talk about crime, and whatever else comes up in our weird-ass conversations. And if you're new to this podcast, welcome. If you're not, well, welcome back. That's that.
So graceful.
Yeah. And we have Anna here today.
Hello.
Anna.
How you doing?
The first time recording in person in quite some time.
I know. It's like February.
I know.
Since February. And we've been in Tampa the entire time.
We have been.
Which is crazy, which is why all of our plants almost died in
Oh
our
my
apartment.
God. I had a dream about you guys the other day. Do you want to hear it?
I
God,
do,
totally.
yes. Yes, tell us.
So for some reason I found myself on a plane and I was like, I didn't remember getting there, but then I realized I was going to Tampa, Florida. No idea why. And I was like, where am I going to stay when I get there? Like I have actually no plans. And then for some reason I didn't text or call either of you. I just ended up at your home in Tampa, Florida. And it was nighttime and I just was like looking through your window and your lights were on and you guys were just sitting on the couch and I was like knocking on your window.
Not even knocking on the door, knocking on the window.
On
How
the window.
creepy.
I was like, and I'm staying here now. And you guys were like, okay. But then you were like, we're actually just about to fly back to New York. So, I mean, I guess you can stay here, but we're not going to be here with you. And I was like, okay. And that was that.
Thanks. We're like, oh my God. You do know that we would always welcome you into our home.
100%. Just knock on the front door, not the window.
Yeah, just knock on the front door. There's a ring button. You can just ring the doorbell.
Right.
We'll be like, hi.
Okay, noted.
That's so funny.
How interesting. I wonder why your mind went there.
Right.
Because you missed us because it's been so long.
I know.
Oh,
Aw.
oh Anna.
My mind was astral projecting to you.
It was.
Welcome to Tampa.
It would have been crazy if one of us was like, oh my God, I had a dream that you were knocking on our
That
window.
would be crazy.
That would be.
I would kind of
heavenly.
love that.
Right?
I would too. I'd be like,
We're
we're
in sync.
connected.
Yeah. All right.
Everything's connected. What show is that? I
Bonded
don't
by true crime.
That
even more.
would get dark really quick, I think,
I
actually.
think
Right?
it would get dark pretty quick. Yeah, you should come visit Tampa though. It's a pretty cool city.
Yeah.
Always welcome at our house for sure.
Thank you.
Yeah. Okay. Before we dive into what's new, Brandon, what's your story about today?
My story I have titled as Inspired by a Soap Opera.
Ooh.
Ooh.
I'm gonna just
Why
tell
was
you
that so deep?
I don't know. I was thinking, and then my mind went
stopped.
blank, and then I was trying to think again. But that's exciting. What was yours again? Say it again. I forgot already.
It's inspired by a soap opera.
I used to love soap operas.
Great. What is
You know
yours?
that Kirsten Storms
Yeah, sure.
from Xenon, Girl of the 21st Century,
Yeah.
Disney Channel. She
Great
is
movie.
on a very long-lasting soap opera.
Is she really?
Yeah, I don't know what it's called though. So that's my story.
Cool
Okay.
story.
Well, my
So grateful for that.
yeah. The title of my episode today is "Evil Born Mary Needed Jesus."
Oh,
Yeah, I know.
doesn't everybody need Jesus?
No.
But we also didn't say, we do this really great thing where we talk about the title or the theme of our actual stories, but we don't actually say what the episode,
The
is
episode
about.
title? Yeah.
We need to add that in somewhere still.
Well, today's episode
we're
number,
trying to get on top of this.
Yes. Today's is episode 20.
It is.
How do you say 20 in Spanish again? Uno, dos, tres, cuatro,
20.
cinco.
I was gonna say
yeah.
20.
And it's titled "Are You Kidding Me?"
But,
Which
about
is
child
about
murderers.
Yes,
Again.
kids who've murdered, which is terrifying.
And this is the second one because we've already done one. We
Yeah.
did one last year, but
We did.
they're so terrifying we had to do more.
And actually, one of my friends was like, "My mom heard that episode and she stopped listening." And I was like,
Oh, no.
Really?
"Yeah, Hillary's mom
Well, children who kill are
are
terrifying.
Actually, no, it wasn't the children who killed. It was Albert, the Albert Fish episode.
Oh, yeah. That one was,
That was fucked
rough.
up.
That was
No.
a rough one.
And I remember writing it and being like, "I hate him, and I hate this adventure that we're on."
Yeah.
But then I don't.
Right, and then we kept going, and now we're on episode 20.
Yeah, now we're on episode 20, which is exciting. So, for all of you who follow us and have reviewed us and rated us, thank you.
Yeah, and if you haven't yet, make sure to go to our any channel, but mostly
Yeah,
Apple
if you
or
haven't
Spotify.
yet, shame on you.
Right. Rate and subscribe. Give us a review.
Yes, please. All right, well, what's new with both of you? Anna, you go first. What's new?
Well, I launched a podcast of my
Yay.
own.
Let's do a plug. What is it? Tell us everything.
It's called Wild Geese. It's not about birds. First and foremost, it is not about birds.
Oh, I love that.
It's a podcast for creatives to come together and celebrate all that they're doing and be hot and sexy.
I love that.
So yeah, I'm interviewing guests, and once a month I go solo. And
I love it.
talk about art,
I
aka
love that.
fart.
Fart. Some fart and art and yep.
Yeah, so
I
go
love
stream
that.
Wild Geese
Wild geese. Yeah.
after and only after you listen to this entire episode. This is a threat.
And then you rate and
And
review.
both of
5
them.
stars.
Thank you.
Yes.
I'm really excited for you, and what a perfect person to host that with your creative background.
Right.
So
Thank you.
I'm excited for you. Love it. Okay, what else is new, Brandon?
Well, the only thing I can think of is the stupid Invisalign that we're on that I can literally hear in the microphone.
Yeah.
That's great. So if you hear my lisp, my new acquired lisp is if I'm not gay enough.
Yeah, these so Brandon and I, like most things in our life, do things at the exact same time. I don't like
Yeah,
why.
I don't know. That's
we
why
both
people think
are
we're twins.
Probably. We're both on Invisalign, so I think that I'm maybe
You
using.
don't sound as bad as I do right now.
No. At first, well, that one did.
Yeah.
There, the lisp I could hear. They're right there. At first, when we put them in, I was like, "Oh my god!" But then I learned how to like maneuver my tongue, which sounds really weird. But
So how long do you guys have to keep them on?
a year.
Oh my god.
I know. Which,
And
although
it's supposed to do the same thing that braces are supposed to do, or is it
Essentially,
different?
I don't
Okay.
know. I walked into the dentist to get our cleaning,
Yeah.
and I was like, "Listen, I want to fix my front teeth because I smile sometimes. It looks like I have one tooth." And they were like, "Okay."
Maybe we'll post some pictures of it
Yeah.
so people can see what you're talking about.
But they, I don't know what they told you, but they didn't sell anything to me. I was like, yes, done. Sign me up. But they're expensive as fuck.
Yeah. I mean, they didn't sell me. I knew I wanted to fix mine too, but
Yeah.
I didn't think it would be as long as they told us. When we have a friend that's like, "Oh, I only have to wear mine in for 70 days," and we're like, "How do we get that?"
Which
My
she
teeth
has like
aren't that
perfect
bad.
teeth.
I know.
Yeah, I don't actually know how it totally works, but you can feel like, first off, when you switch your trays out, you have an intense headache that first day,
Yeah.
and then you can feel the pressure on your teeth always.
It feels claustrophobic, which is
Yeah.
super weird
Yeah,
to
I
say.
bet.
It's a little bit weird.
But as I told Kevin, I was like, people are going to think we've like gone on Ozempic or something. We'll have to be like, no, it's just Invisalign because we're not eating, we're not snacking. You have to brush your teeth so many times. I'm like, I'm just not going to eat.
yeah,
I'll
So
eat my
we're-
3 meals.
we're on the
Snatch.
I'll be done.
Invisalign.
I'm not going
diet.
to snack.
We've actually because at night I'm like, no, I'm not doing that. I already brushed my teeth.
Yeah. The
Like,
funny
I'm
thing
not
is, if we
valid.
ended up being fatter in the end,
I cannot get fatter. These boobs cannot get bigger.
I feel like I would just get into a terrible habit of going ahead and doing the midnight snack and then not putting it back in.
yeah.
And then it would just not work.
Yeah, I mean that.
The last couple
hope we
nights,
don't know.
we ate a little late and then
We did.
left them out because we both hate brushing our teeth right after eating, so we'll wait a little bit. And then, like last night, I started falling asleep on the couch. I'm like, no, I have to get up right now and do my teeth, or I'm not putting them in tonight.
Yeah,
And we both say our teeth instead of saying the trays. We both say our teeth. So
I know. Who was I around where I was like, oh, I got to take my teeth out, and they were like,
it sounds like you're taking out your dentures.
what? And I'm like, no, they're my. Oh my
No, I
God.
did. When you said my teeth, I was like, oh, do you have like flippers or something?
Right?
Like, I do not ever. We need to take care of our teeth. This is not.
Well, we are.
This is a non-negotiable. I do not want to have. I just don't want to be the human later in life where I'm like, and my
Yeah.
teeth are like out, and I'm like, like I just don't. Nothing.
And you're
against
putting it in a
people,
cup
but
next to you in bed.
I can't do. I don't know. I just don't want to do that. Yeah.
No, me neither.
Yeah. Well, what else is new? I got a new agent.
You did.
Wow,
I know.
that's big.
In the
Super
Southeast
excited.
region, which is exciting. Already got submitted for something, and I didn't get it. But that's the name of the game.
Okay, love.
Right. But you were submitted, and that's a big
Yeah.
thing because your
Yeah.
last agent wasn't doing that much
Well, I love
for
my.
you.
I
Classic.
do love my last agent.
Oh no, I know you love
yeah,
them,
we work
but
with them.
you had not gotten an
Hadn't
audition in
gotten
over
anything in a
like
while.
2 years.
Yeah,
So-
and I think that they focus more on commercial work, and I don't want to do as much commercial work.
Yeah.
Like unless it's SAG. Like I want to do theatrical. So
Yeah.
do it. But this last audition I did was 3 pages long for
Ugh.
for an audition.
was a
It
lot.
was
Oh my God.
intense.
you did great though.
Yeah, it was for Tyler Perry Studios. It was
Yep.
awesome. But
You'll get more.
you know.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I'm excited about the new agent who is fabulous. Again, it's only in the Southeast, but they're connected to New York, so hopefully I can get one up here too at some point. But
So
That's
if you
very
are an
cool.
agent in New York listening to the podcast, because why wouldn't you?
duh.
Kevin's seeking representation.
Yeah, if you're walking around Central Park on your walk and you're listening to the best podcast out there, this one, hi. But also Anna's here too, and she's a
Hi.
fabulous actress.
Right?
And
We have
Brandon,
to, no.
we just went on a team build. We took our whole team to St. Augustine for an extended vacay and
Ooh.
like whole thing. It was really
It was a lot of fun.
And we did karaoke one night with everybody.
Ah.
And this human broke out, and
I
all
don't
of us were like,
sing.
"What song did you sing again?
I don't know. I have no
Shallows
idea.
or something? I don't know.
Oh, it might have been.
I
Yeah.
don't remember. Wait, I think it's called Shallow.
I don't know if I can sing or not. And I typically don't. Like we went to karaoke with like
Yeah,
your whole
you were
improv
pretty
group.
quiet for
And I
that
did
one.
not
Yeah,
sing
he
because
was.
I get uncomfortable. But there was a moment this year where I was like, I need to start just allowing myself to be comfortable doing things that make me uncomfortable.
That's
Nice.
it. That's
Because
it.
there's really, if somebody doesn't like it, why does that bother me so much?
Especially
right?
for
Fuck 'em.
karaoke. It's
know.
just like, I actually think when somebody's too good at karaoke, it's like, ew, shut up.
Right? Get out of here. You
Like,
don't
let's
belong
just
here.
have fun,
Right?
right?
So
Yeah.
we were in that moment. Somebody was like, who wants to do this part? And I was just like, screw it. And I took it
Yeah.
and I just started singing. And then I saw everybody's eyes turn towards
We
me.
were
And I'm
all
like, we don't have to do this.
You were like we were all kind of here, and he was right here, so he was just like, la, 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 like
Well,
singing.
there was the second song where I sat right in front of the TV because I didn't know the words. And everyone was behind me. I'm like, I could do it with everyone behind me.
I don't know. It was kind of. I was like, oh my god, he was really sexy. I'm
You know
like,
what I think is
Jesus.
so fun is blind karaoke, where somebody turns away from the screen and other people
Oh,
pick
yeah.
the song, and then they have to like guess what
Like,
song it
figure
is.
out-
And if
and
they
the
can't
words.
figure it out, they just have to sing something. I think that's so
Oh
fun.
my god, we should do that.
We should.
That was fun actually when we went with improv.
Yeah, it was.
That was actually a really fun night.
Well, what else? Do
I
you have
love it.
anything else new with you? Since
Me?
I never typically
Oh
ask
my
you.
god,
We've
there
talked
is.
about
I
it.
actually did. So one of my, who I consider a really good friend now, also my acting coach, Andy Matheny, who I met in St. Pete, which is actually how I got an agent and got like really into everything again after theater. I did this industry pro series that she has. So she's actually like meeting all these casting directors and all these people and doing this scene work and like Q&A with them. And we got to do a couple of things, which was really fun. We actually met with this woman named Tessa Blake, who is a filmmaker and television director who worked on shows like, what is she? American Horror Story and Station 19 and like really cool shit. iZombie.
Yeah.
And so I got to actually meet her, not face to face, but like over
Virtually.
Yeah. Which was really cool. And then another one that I just did was this woman named Susan Walter, who directed it's called All I Wish, which was starring Sharon Stone and Tony Goldwyn. You guys know who he is, right? From Scandal.
No.
Oh my god, he's so sexy.
I'm so bad with
He was also
names.
in Ghost. He was the bad guy in Ghost.
Oh, yeah.
No. All right. Well, anyway, it was really, really fun. And that's been kind of a cool thing to meet people in the industry. And there's one common thread that I think is worth noting, and that is the inequality that women have in the film and TV industry.
Yeah.
And I really appreciated them kind of really talking about that and how much work has to be done. And I loved that because these were just two female film, writers and film directors, and it was just incredible. So anyway, that was kind of fun. But and then we met a little dog in the park today.
We did.
Which gave me a little bit
Which
of
we were walking and the dog just like turned to look at Kevin and just wanted to go towards him.
Aw.
Like,
like
excitedly.
like a full minute before, and I was like, all right, maybe I should acknowledge the little pup here. And so I thought at first it was a dog behind me. There was nobody behind me.
No, it was you.
It was me.
The
And,
spirit of Marty came into that dog.
right?
Well, so the dog's name was Whiskey, and it was adorable. And its owner's name was Jackie. We did not tell her our names.
Oh,
Sorry.
that was weird. But then Kevin, you got a little emotional, which
I
was sad.
did. Yeah, I started petting the dog, and then I got a little verklempt.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was like, okay, enough.
No more unconditional love by a dog that I don't have.
It was it was just, I mean, the only dog that I've seen really since Marty passed was my brother-in-law's dog, Dexter, who's a crazy little mutt and adorable. But that's it. And, I don't know. It was a little bit weird. It was a little bit odd. But then I kind of walked and I was like, maybe I want another pup again.
Yeah.
Not yet, but maybe
Not
again.
yet.
I don't know. But yeah, that was just
I thought
today.
that the same. I thought the same thing when we saw a couple dogs this
Yeah.
weekend, and I was like,
Papas.
like no, we don't need one.
Little nougats.
We don't need one, and
No.
it's a lot of
Not yet.
work.
It's a lot of work, and that I think that somebody told me something after Marty had passed away, and they were like, the worst day is when you get the dog, when you get a new dog, because you know it's going to end.
Yeah,
And I was like, I
Mm,
have never
God.
thought of it that way. Like,
Like,
what?
that's
So sad.
not. I
Yeah.
don't like that.
I know, but it's so interesting. That's kind of like that movie Marley and Me. Did you guys ever see that?
No,
Yeah. Oh my god.
Oh
I
my
don't like
God.
watching pet
So
movies.
depressing. I saw it on
know.
Christmas Day when I was in like 4th grade.
God,
Yeah.
awful.
Yeah.
We
I
ruined
just remember being like,
Christmas.
"Are you kidding me?
Yeah. This was a bad choice.
Now I know that death exists."
Yeah,
Just kidding.
right.
I definitely knew before that, but still.
We have had to do that with our great niece Akari, because every time she walks in the house, she's like, "Where's Marty?" And
Yeah.
we're like,
God, that's
We're like
awful.
Marty's
on the fireplace,
on the mantle
Yeah.
in the box.
Yeah, she's on the mantle.
She's like, "Wait, what? My
Right.
brain is breaking."
Yeah.
at
I
that."
know. It's
Yeah,
always
it
a little
was
bit rough.
it was sad, and I don't know if we said this on the podcast, but the first time that she knew that Marty passed, we were on the phone with her and Brianna, our niece,
Mm-hmm.
and Brianna was showing her the box, and she's like trying to understand where Marty was, and Brianna's like, "Marty's in the box. Marty's sleeping," like trying to get her to whatever, and she's just started to go, "Marty, wake up!"
Oh.
It was heartbreaking,
I'm like, fuck. Yeah,
and we were like, "We didn't need to do that on the phone with you."
I know. Well, that was not great.
You're like, and we're hanging up now.
Goodbye. Yeah, that was, and it's interesting too because it's now the end of April,
Yeah,
and all of Marty's stuff is still in our house
Yep.
and our office. Like we have still not gotten.
we
rid of
probably
it.
should soon, I guess, but it's our own timeline. We can do whatever the fuck we
Yeah.
want.
Yeah, I did feel when we were leaving to come back here, I was like, all right, we
Yeah.
could probably.
There's a couple things
Or,
like her crate and stuff that we aren't going
Yeah.
to need or want or use.
Well, our cat started sleeping in the crate and in her beds and shit.
Oh.
it was
I
so
know,
sad.
we were like, fuck. Yeah, little KKs. And then she got sick. We had to go to the vet. I don't know. I was like, please don't die. Like, don't.
We're like,
no.
we've
No,
already
it would be too much.
Please
said
don't do
goodbye to
this
one.
right
We don't
now.
need to do it to
I
another one
know.
yet.
Mm.
My lord. Speaking of death, should we dive in?
On that
Speaking
note,
of death, let's talk about murder.
On that note,
creepy children who murder.
Oh my god. Okay, well, I think Brandon, you went.
I go first this time. You went first last time.
Oh yeah, we had Hillary on last
We
time.
did.
And we're gonna have another guest on soon too. Our fabulous Cuban friend Marissa, who I love, who also does hair and makeup for me often with photos.
Not just for him, for
Well, not for me. She does that as a career.
for well, yeah, for
She's a
your
hair and
photo.
makeup artist.
Yeah.
But she's fantastic, and she is who. God, I met her several years ago.
Yeah.
And all the headshot, which I'm a professional photographer. I went to school for commercial photography, lots of hats that I wear. But all the headshots that I do, which I haven't really opened it up to New York. I maybe should do that. But
Probably should.
in Tampa, her and I created this really popular event that we don't really do anymore, but people come to us a lot. So she does hair and makeup.
Yeah.
And so we're going to do some cool stories related to hair and makeup.
Yeah. Mine's on a hair salon murder.
Yeah. So
That'll be fun.
that's coming up soon.
I like our themed episodes, especially with our
Me too.
when we have people on.
Me too. Do you want
Ready?
to start?
Let's do it.
All right.
My story is titled Inspired by a Soap Opera. And so I wrote this story quite some time ago, and I don't really remember it. So it's going to be a wild ride for all of us. Hopefully, I didn't type out things super oddly that I was like, oh, I'll know what I'm talking about later, and actually not know. So this should be fun. So, all right. In the early hours of Monday, April 25th, 2011, on a suburban street in the Red Hill neighborhood of Nottingham, England, a fire erupted at the Bartlam house.
Wait, your story's from fucking England?
It is.
Oh, mine too.
Is it really?
Yeah.
Okay, so it's just British children who kill.
Yep.
Checks out.
Acting quickly, 14-year-old Daniel Bartlam grabbed his younger brother Dominic and their dog and rushed out of the house. When police arrived, there was no signs of 47-year-old Jacqueline Bartlam, Daniel and Dominic's mother. When the flames died down, firefighters were not surprised when they found the body of missing Jacqueline, who was quickly transferred to the medical examiner's office.
Was one of them named Dominic?
Dominic.
Okay, so every time I hear the word or the name Dominic, I think of that fucking song that you always
The
sing.
Christmas song?
The Christmas song,
Dominic
Dominic the
the-
donkey.
yep. the Italian Christmas donkey.
What?
Have you not heard
song?
this?
No.
I didn't either. This is an East thing. Okay. So it's a Christmas song. I don't know that you can play it.
Can we play it?
I don't think so. But
You're gonna have to sing it.
yeah.
I'm not gonna sing.
It goes Dominic the donkey, and the donkey goes,
And it goes,
hee haw, hee haw.
It goes chingity ching, hee haw, hee haw. It's Dominic the donkey. It's good. It's the Italian Christmas
It's really
donkey.
good. It's
He
peak
really
art.
sold that, by the way.
I know, you're welcome. Well, and
So
I also
good.
have these teeth in, so the teeth. I have my teeth in, so I
He does have his real teeth in because
I
he does
do.
have real teeth. He has his Invisalign in.
right. I call them my teeth, which I think we already established at the beginning of the episode.
I'm sorry, I derailed us. Dominic the donkey.
Yeah,
Okay.
it's a good song. You should look it up.
But this is a different Dominic
This
who's
is-
likely been murdered.
This
so now I
is
feel
a
bad.
child named Dominic.
Oh, Dominic the child is the murderer?
Dominic is not the murderer.
Oh. Dominic's the one murdered. Maybe.
No, Dominic's the brother.
Hee haw, hee haw. Okay.
I just got really confused. Anyways, back to the story.
Sorry.
So pretty quickly into their examination of the body, the medical examiner determined that the cause of death was not from smoke inhalation, but from blunt force trauma to her skull. Oh no! Yeah. From here, the detectives knew that this was a murder and not and a fire to cover up their traces. So they first started to talk to those in the house, starting with Daniel. Questioning Daniel, he told them a story of an intruder that came into the house and attacked his mother and set the house on fire that night. Looking to corroborate the story, they brought in Dominic for questioning his younger brother. And to their surprise, he didn't say anything about an intruder, which made them look into Daniel even more because they thought it was weird that the two stories of the brothers didn't match. Yeah. So after further questioning, Daniel got scared and eventually broke down and told the police what happened. He explained that they had an argument over a pair of trainers, sneakers. What?
No, I'm just.
Oh, you're just in shock because I got into a fight.
I'm reacting to the story authentically.
Authentically, I love it. It just caught me off guard.
Okay.
And so he said they had an argument over some sneakers, and he lost his control. He also stated that his mother was physically and verbally abusive. So in anger, he said how he grabbed two hammers and went to her bedroom. He attacked her, hitting her with one of the hammers 7 times in the head.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay.
But she was the abusive one?
Right.
Oh.
Once she was dead, he wrapped her body in newspaper, grabbed petrol, and poured it all over her.
I feel like wrapping somebody's body in newspaper would take quite some time.
Right, especially as a child.
Yeah, like have you ever wrapped a gift in that type of, and then you're like, God, stay, fuck, you know?
Well, that's a little different.
No.
Also, how old was he?
He was, let me get back to it, 14.
It's resourceful motherfucker.
So he was a child wrapping his mother in newspaper. How well he did, who knows? I don't see any photos.
My mind just goes back to when we used newspaper, like when we would
Covering
wrap
your
our
book.
in
Yeah,
high
the book
school
cover.
in newspaper. Yeah.
Yeah, a little different than that.
What's his mind like? Well, I wrap my textbook in newspaper. I guess I can wrap my mom in it.
Well, I think
You
he
know?
was like, I'm going to light her on fire. Let me put flammable
God.
paper
Yeah.
around her.
I forgot about the fire.
Yeah. So,
Which newspaper is quite flammable. So
right. With it's paper.
I get the logic.
Yeah.
Well,
Don't
if
give
it
me
was
that look.
that flammable, he wouldn't have needed petrol. Anyway. Okay.
Anyways, back to the story again. Okay, then he poured the petrol over her. He cleaned the hammer he killed her with and put it in his bedroom. And then he left the second hammer by the bedroom, which is thought that he did that to make the police think that the intruder left it. And then he lit his mother's body on fire. So basically, he hit her with one hammer, killed her with it, took a second hammer that was not the murder weapon, put it by the bedroom door to make it seem like the intruder dropped it as he was leaving.
That's like the logic of a 14-year-old.
Yes.
Because it makes no sense. But
Exactly.
yeah. Okay.
So with Daniel's confession, they focused their search on the investigation into Daniel further, and they found a few interesting things. First, they found that the murder weapon was in his bedroom where he said that he would leave it. And then they saw the second hammer that he left by the bedroom. However, it was what they call a lump hammer. And the examiner confirmed that the marks on her body were from a claw hammer, which helped prove that it wasn't an intruder. So if he ever went back to say, oh, there was actually an intruder, they were like, that was a completely different hammer you left.
So they call
in
a
the hallway.
normal hammer a lump hammer.
Well, I think that it's like the round ball-headed
yeah,
hammers.
yeah.
That I believe is the lump hammer, and the claw hammer is like the traditional one with the claw that comes out the end where you could remove nails.
But don't they have both the lump and the claw?
Yeah, but this was like lumps on both sides, I believe.
Oh God.
Yeah.
Right.
So the one he left could not have left the marks.
Got it.
They also found various violent video games and gory movies that the prosecution believed aided in his actions.
Yep.
Right.
That's why I don't love video games like that.
You don't.
I don't.
You hate watching or seeing anybody play
When
them.
I see kids that are like, don't with these games, I'm like,
Yeah, it's
no.
weird.
Yeah, I don't like it.
Like when the whole goal is to kill people
Like if we had kids, they
Yeah.
will
with
not
your
be playing those.
undeveloped brains. Like,
Yeah,
where
no.
do you draw that line? I don't know. We're not parents, but I couldn't. I
Yeah.
don't know if I like my children.
No, but that's why
Playing them
every
either.
parent has the right and the choice to do what they want to
Exactly.
do. You know,
You're like,
but-
go play Animal Crossing.
Right.
yeah,
What are
like
you doing?
let's play Carmen San Diego.
Ooh, that was
That was a really fun game. Or categories.
Oregon Trail.
Oregon Trail.
I know. I don't know why I said it like
Oregon
that.
Trail.
You know, sometimes they say things and I'm like, fuck it,
I know.
That's not right.
I could see in your face. You're like, damn it.
Thank you.
Oregon Trail. Who else played the
Shut up.
Oregon Trail?
Anyways, not this kid.
Clearly.
He also had some search record history on his computer that were how to get away with murder.
Like the TV show?
Yeah,
Oh.
and people who get away with murder in shows. Right. They also found a story on his computer that he had deleted before the murder. However, the detectives were able to retrieve it. And in this story, he wrote that the main character, who had the same name as him, killed their mother, and it had a lot of similarities to what happened. It even showed the main character as a master criminal and serial rapist.
Oh,
Yeah. There was one quote in the story that read, "The only place he couldn't get away with his bad deeds was with his mother, Jackie. So one evening, he made it look as though there was a break-in and murdered his mother with a hammer, then set the family home alight." So he wrote that in a story before this happened,
Oh.
and he deleted it from his computer before this happened, but the police were able to recover
I
it.
feel like when I was 14, my mind would have never thought of any of this.
100% not.
Or like been that calculated.
Yeah.
Right?
It's mental illness.
It's called mental illness.
These are psychopaths that are
Right.
born. Wow.
And then the last one that I have on here is they also found clips from a British soap opera called Coronation Street of the character of John Stape.
Sounds British.
One clip had the storyline that Stape bludgeoned a woman with a hammer and left her body in the wreckage of a tram crash in order to cover up his crime, which he got away with, which really interested Daniel, the fact that he got away with it.
Yeah.
So they also looked into Daniel's life and upbringing, which led them to learn that Daniel was born on November 11th, 1996, to Jacqueline, Brian, and
I think it's just Jacqueline. I don't think it's Jacqueline.
well, I think it's Jacqueline, technically.
Oh, ooh, I like that.
I know. So I'm reading it, getting my names mixed up.
Jacqueline.
Yeah,
I like that
and
name.
Adrian Bartlam. He was the oldest of two children, and they had a really happy upbringing. And Jacqueline and Daniel had a great mother-son relationship as he was growing up. After a few years, Jacqueline and I have Adrian. Who the fuck is Adrian? Oh no, it is. It's. I literally just said Adrian.
Who the fuck is Adrian?
Right, because I'm trying to read this and remembering that I haven't read this in a very long time.
Can we create a shirt that says
Who the fuck is Adrian? We should. Anyways, Adrian Brandon is the father. So after a few years, Daniel's parents' relationship started to get a little rocky. In 2005, soon after their second child. Could you stop? I'm sorry. I just hear you chuckling in the
I was
background.
trying not to. Okay.
Okay, so in 2005, soon after they had their second child, Dominic, the two got divorced, and Jacqueline moved with the kids, and he had to switch schools. At first, Daniel seemed pretty okay with the change in their family dynamic. However, over some time, he started to change, oftentimes getting mad at Jacqueline and blaming her for the divorce and everything that was happening. According to a former partner of Jacqueline, Simon Matters, Daniel started to get reclusive in the year before the murder, and his behavior started to get a little odd. He would spend all of his time in his room alone playing video games and watching gory horror movies.
No.
Yeah. So Simon was quoted in saying, okay, I'm remembering this bit. This bit's kind of disgusting. Simon quoted saying that Daniel would have plastic boxes full of figures like Star Wars and Doctor Who characters, but he'd just urinate in the boxes. He'd also defecated all over the bedroom and in the boxes and hid towels and stuff he'd wiped himself with.
Okay. Yeah, that's not normal.
No. So I don't know what happened and I'm sure I'll get more into this, but people think because of the trauma of his parents splitting up and that kind of stuff.
No.
I don't know. I don't know.
No. I know many people
it has to go pretty far.
Parents
well,
have
in
split up
the
that did not do that.
in the moving as a child, whatever.
Okay, cute. No,
I know.
I didn't.
I'm not justifying it.
Everywhere.
I'm not justifying it. I'm just trying to
you know,
tell the story.
These are difficult moments for
I
me.
know.
So I'm like, no.
You're like, I've been through shit,
No.
and I'm fine. I'm not killing
And
anyone.
I wasn't pooping on figurines and peeing on things and hiding poop towels. Like,
Yeah,
it just
I
wasn't.
mean-
so I don't know. You know, everyone reacts to trauma differently.
and you also haven't killed anybody, so
I have not. Yeah.
There
So
you go.
I guess everyone just.
yeah.
I feel like these would be the moments where I'm like, you need help. Goodbye.
Yes.
Yeah. I'm like,
yes,
here's-
if I had a child that was peeing in boxes and shitting all over the place, I think
yeah.
that
Yeah,
warrants
like-
some extra help.
Something-
Did his
not right.
parents just not do anything about that?
Yeah,
They
from
were
what
just like, well, whatever, kids will be kids.
Yeah, basically. I mean, who didn't shit in a box when they were a child?
I did
I
not.
definitely didn't either.
Okay.
So
14 years old, you're just like shitting in boxes.
Right.
There we go.
so
It's just weird. Yeah. Okay.
it's just weird. Okay.
Yeah.
So many in his life thought that that the acting out could have been from a few things. It's we literally do this every single time.
No, I'm sorry.
We get ahead of ourselves. One being the divorce, one being the new baby taking some of his mother's attention, moving and
Oh my
switching
God, do you think
schools.
he was like, I am the baby.
Right?
Oh my god.
Could be.
I mean,
I am baby. I
Yeah.
will shit
I poop.
everywhere.
I
Yeah.
poop.
I
poop too.
I poop too, Mama.
Mom, don't forget about me.
I'm
poop
important.
too.
Well, I guess this is a PSA for parents. Like, you know, if you've divorced and you're moving,
It's a lot of change. I mean, for some children, a lot of change.
If you're divorced and you're moving, your kid might start
Your
shitting
kid
and
may.
pissing
And they might
everywhere
eventually
and then kill
murder
you.
and then maybe kill
Right.
you. So
Right.
just, you know, keep that in mind.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, for this child, it was a lot, including, and the one that I didn't add in here that I didn't get to was, or her new relationship. So it seems, from what I read, it seems like he just had a lot of change all at once. And
Sure.
for him, for some reason,
Yeah.
he went crazy with it.
Change can be hard.
Yeah. I mean, not hard enough to kill, but
Yeah.
whatever. Anyways, so Daniel's behavior only started to get more odd. So like in
More odd than pooping in boxes and
Yes,
hiding it?
it
Oh,
did.
All right.
In 2010, Jacqueline even reported Daniel missing to the police, who later found him walking in the direction of his old house at 1 a.m.
Well, that's kind of sad.
Yeah, the same year, a school counselor even told the police of an incident where he got really upset and started yelling at his necktie, which he named Fred. And he told his classmates that Fred was trying to hurt him. Then a few months prior to the murder, Daniel even confided in a counselor that he was hearing voices that were telling him to hurt people.
So he had schizophrenia.
Yeah, so there was a lot going on, and it didn't seem like anybody.
But I
was
also
doing
wonder,
anything.
did those school counselors tell his parents?
See, I didn't
of
see
that?
anything about
Yeah,
that.
because
so
like if that
who
shit
knows?
comes
They could
out
have.
afterwards, it's like, no, come on.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. So at the trial, Daniel. Well, I have this label as trial, and so obviously Daniel was arrested for the murder of his mother in February of 2012. He went to trial at the Nottingham Crown Court. The defense tried to paint the picture of a child with mental illness. However, just 6 weeks before the murder, Daniel went through a mental assessment at Thornywood Child and Adolescent Mental Health Services. And in this assessment, it stated that Daniel demonstrated no signs of mental illness, and he was seen as no risk or a threat to himself or others, proving that the theory was wrong. They also defended Daniel, stating that the murder was an accident and that he was provoked by the argument and that Daniel just lost control. The prosecution drove the fact that Daniel had planned the murder, that this was premeditated due to all of the evidence, like the story he wrote, his search history, and the videos from the Coronation Street TV show. They also painted him as a liar since he lied through the investigation, since he said that there was an intruder, and the simple fact that he just lost control and it was an accident. However, again, the evidence proved that wrong. Once the jury deliberated, no one was too surprised to see the unanimous guilty verdict. When the sentencing came, the judge told Daniel, and I quote, whilst there clearly...
Can you do this in a British accent?
With these teeth in?
Yeah.
Whilst there clearly were arguments between you and your mother, not, I feel like I'm going Southern a little bit.
You did a little.
Not untypical between mothers and their teenage children, I am quite satisfied that there were no physical or... I'm already wanting to fuck up my
You're
words,
very
too.
robotic. I love it.
I know. It's because I'm trying to read.
And there was no physical.
AI British accent.
It's because I'm trying to read it. I don't want to fuck it up, and I always fuck up the quotes.
So cute.
Anyways, there's no physical or verbal abuse by your mother, such as you alleged your evidence at trial. So basically, he was saying there's no proof that your mother abused you. So Daniel was sentenced to life in prison with a minimum of 16 years, which would make him 26 years old by the time he gets out.
Oh, which is quite young.
Yeah.
That would be you, Anna. If you were
No, I was going to say, when you said the year that he was born, I was like, damn, we're the same age.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Like,
yeah.
well, I mean, he's 1996. I'm 1997, but
Yeah,
still.
basically, yeah.
But you're the same age. I mean, that's your...
Yeah.
Yeah.
Crazy.
And I have a couple facts here, those in which I don't remember, so we'll see what they are together. Jacqueline's parents spoke at the trial and said, Jackie was a wonderful, loving, and caring woman. She was warm with a great sense of humor and would always be there to help if anyone was in trouble. When she was born, Jackie was a beautiful baby with the biggest blue eyes. She grew up into a wonderful girl who enjoyed looking after her little sister and watched over her whenever she went. Wherever she went. She went on to become a gentle person who tried to do her best by everyone. And then last one I have, they also said, we find it hard to explain what we are going through. There's no winners here because not only have we lost Jackie, we have also lost Daniel too. The most difficult part for us, and something that only Daniel can answer here, is why.
Which there probably isn't one.
No.
That's got to be difficult too. I couldn't imagine having a family member be killed by a family member, and how you kind of reconcile that, and that relationship. That's difficult.
Yeah.
I mean, especially like a mother and a son, like that's the person that brought you into the world, and then the person, like, you bring somebody into the world that ends up taking you out of it.
Yeah.
Like,
Which is, and I feel like, listen, my biological mother, I felt deeply for yesterday. Brandon and I were exploring where we're going to move, which is by Lincoln Center. And we just walked on to the campus, right? Like the main square of Juilliard, I think, right? Where the fountain is. And they were just instruments setting out or whatever. And we just listened as they like started playing this beautiful music. And I got emotional with it. It was just so beautiful.
It was very beautiful.
And I was standing there and I didn't think much at all, which is rare, other than like just enjoying it. But I did think one thing, and I thought how incredible it is to have the opportunity to hear, and how awful it is for people who don't.
Yeah.
My biological mom is deaf and can't hear, obviously. And I just thought, what an incredible experience that she's never had.
Yeah.
And it made me feel a little bit more for her, which is an interesting juxtaposition between how I typically feel, which is not a lot of joy for her in general. And
it's called being empathetic.
Sure, I would never kill my mom. So, there's that.
No.
But regardless of what anyone would do, I just, wouldn't. But yeah, I can't imagine, the kind of the mother and son bond, because I do think that there's a deep bond there. I mean, you're, I don't know.
Yeah, for sure.
Your mom is amazing. Yeah, so I just couldn't imagine.
No, but then
It's
even
just
being
difficult.
like the brother, now not only is your mom gone, your brother's in prison
Yeah,
for
for killing her.
quite some time.
And he had to been there.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh my God. Yeah. And like, yeah, how do you reconcile those things? I don't know. Yeah.
I don't know.
Well, that one was interesting. I think you
Right.
did good for it being prepared a month ago.
Right? I know.
Sorry.
I probably would have told it better if I read it a month ago,
You
but
told it great.
we're good.
I always derail you.
You do for sure.
Yeah.
That's the fun in it, I guess.
Which I think a lot of people are like, you're so funny when you like, what do they, I don't know. They're like, you always throw a wrench. I'm like, I do.
you do.
You should shut up.
No, it's fun.
Oh, well. Anyway.
So
Well, that
let's
one
get
was
ready for
interesting,
me
yeah.
to throw some wrenches into your story.
Throw all the wrenches, Brandon.
Got my toolbox
Um,
ready.
Okay, yes, I can. My toolbox.
I was stupid. I'm sorry.
All right.
Can we just get on to you talking now?
We sure can. All right. So mine again was called Evil Born Mary Needed Jesus. And she did.
Mother Mary.
Mother Mary. All right. It was May 25th of 1968 when two boys stumbled upon a little boy's body in an abandoned house in Scotswood, England.
It's terrifying.
I love the names in the UK. Oh, my headphones. Okay, the little boy was quickly identified as 4-year-old Martin Brown. Police were initially confused by the scene as there was no clear sign of violence, and besides a bit of blood and saliva on Martin's face, there were no signs of a struggle. So,
Was
other
it his
than-
saliva?
I mean, I hope so.
It's just weird that they.
Yeah,
It
yeah.
is.
That would be a question for the investigators. So other than an empty bottle of painkillers on the floor near his body, and without any additional clues, the police assumed that the little boy had swallowed the pills and ruled his death an accident. So days after the little Martin's death, a little 11-year-old girl named Mary Bell, who had just turned 11 the day after Martin's body was found, appeared on the Browns' doorstep and asked to see him. Through her pain, Martin's mother gently explained that Martin was dead. Mary, who was completely unfazed, said she already knew he was dead and simply wanted to see his dead body in the coffin.
What?
So disgusted, Martin's mother slammed the door in that little bitch's face.
I kind of feel like she's an icon.
You've heard the name Mary Bell before, I think, maybe. I feel like she's an icon.
I mean, I just feel like
That took you a
That's
very long
amazing.
time. It took him a long time to get
But
that.
it's funny because I thought about like the end, which will, yes, that will weigh. There will be some weight to that. So what no one knew at the time was that Mary Bell had, in fact, murdered little Martin by strangling him to death. After she killed the little boy, Mary immediately left the crime scene, then met up with her gross friend Nora and invited her to see the body. So when Mary and Nora arrived back, they both realized that Martin's body had already been found by two innocent boys playing in the abandoned house.
wait, I don't. If he was strangled, couldn't I mean? I feel like you can pretty quickly see if somebody was strangled. Usually,
Agreed.
there's like
Yeah.
fingerprints.
Yeah,
or
or some
like
kind of
their-
mark.
There's
yeah.
markings, yeah, but they...
So for them to rule it an accident is
Right.
shady.
And did she have like the pill bottle with her?
I don't know. Never heard anything else about this pill bottle. Well, I mean, I wasn't alive then, but like in my research. Martin would actually be Mary's first, but not her last murder. So this is a story of Mary Bell, who, by the time she was arrested, murdered 2 children and attempted to murder several others. And she also left several notes promising to kill more. So I got all of my information from a couple of different websites, allthat'sinteresting.com and historydefined.net. All the stories of Miss Mary Bell, the lunatic. Okay, so let's talk about Mary's upbringing, because this is a common thread with all these weirdos that decide to kill people. They have weird childhoods. So Mary Bell
But
was
it's also
born...
creepy when it's a child who has had creepy childhoods that have killed.
Man. This one's a little bit brutal too. So Mary Bell was born on May 26th of 1957 to Betty McCricket. These names. I can't-
Wait, she was born May 26th and she did this on May 25th.
Yeah, the day before her birthday, she killed this little boy.
Oh,
Just wait. Remember that date.
okay.
May 25th. Remember that date. So, a mentally unstable. So, okay. Mary Bell was born to Betty McCricket, and the dad's name is like no named. Don't know why. Well, maybe this is why. But her mother was a mentally unstable 16-year-old sex worker.
Well, that's why.
Yep. Upon seeing her when she was giving birth, apparently told the doctors who were the doctor apparently told the doctors who delivered her to take that thing away from me.
Oh, so he's a cool guy.
Well, that was the mom who said
that was the mom. I thought that was the dad.
No, the dad was, I don't know who the
Oh,
dad
so
is.
she's great too.
Yeah. So the little baby, Mary, went home with her mom anyway. Throughout her childhood, she was subjected to mental, sexual, and physical abuse by her mom. And there are actually multiple allegations that her mother attempted to end Mary's life on multiple occasions. So these attempts were disguised as accidents. And this trauma started when Mary was just 5 years old.
Sorry, you're making me feel bad for Mary.
I know. Don't, though. So Mary's aunt...
I feel like she's great.
I'm like, she should have... I mean, she should have killed her mother.
I'm just picturing like the little shining twins, but just one of them.
Just one of them.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Like a
that's
dirty
so
dress
creepy.
on.
Just standing up
With
in the
long,
hallway.
just
Yeah.
the hair
Yeah.
staring.
She was actually... There's pictures of her. We can share them on our Instagram. She was actually kind of pretty. Which is really sad. But anyway, so her aunt, her mom's sister, actually witnessed Mary's mother trying to give her away to a woman who had been unsuccessfully trying to adopt. And her aunt recovered Mary herself when she was kind of given away. So Mary was also strangely accident prone, which goes back into like this abuse. She once fell from a window and she accidentally overdosed on sleeping pills on another occasion, which was actually her mom.
This is
This
is awful.
I know. Some attribute the accidents Mary would encounter to her mom Betty's determination to rid herself of her, while others see the symptoms of Munchausen syndrome by proxy, which there's a really famous story, obviously right now, about Gypsy Rose.
Oh, yeah.
Which everyone's kind of celebrating her, and I think she's insane and shouldn't be celebrated. So,
Well, no,
that's
she's
different. But
she still got somebody killed, regardless of what happened. It's all awful. It's all
let's
awful.
be honest about it. She convinced an autistic boy to go and murder her mom.
Yes.
She's not great.
Yeah.
So that's that. And now she's out of prison. So cool.
Yeah.
Anyway.
But that D is fire.
Gross.
It's so fucking
So
gross.
how people watch that and they're like, oh my God, she's so cool. No, it's
No.
like Anna Delvey. She's a fucking idiot. Like
Yes.
I don't see these people and I'm like, celebrities. I'm like,
No.
no, they should be in jail. Whatever. We're going to get some shit for that one probably.
This will be the episode that blows up
And-
and goes viral.
Post that one to TikTok. Gypsy Rose, gross. Anna Delvey, cool accent, but you're also gross.
Cool accent.
Okay, cool.
You're
Betty,
so dumb.
I know. Betty longed for the attention, which Betty was Mary's mom, longed for the attention and sympathy of her daughter's accidents. And so that kind of brought her this attention that she really loved. So that's why they're like Munchausen.
Yeah.
So according to later accounts given by Mary Bell herself, her mother began to use her for sex work when she was just 5 years old, which is awful. So it remains uncorroborated by family members in general, but they did know, however, that Mary's young life had already been marked by loss. So she actually had seen her 5-year-old friend run over and killed by a bus.
Oh my gosh.
Which is horrible. So not only all this abuse, she saw her friend get killed, and
She's been through a lot already.
it's a lot.
And how
So
old is she by this time?
5. I mean, a lot of this started when she was
Even the friend getting
young.
ran over was...
Yeah, it was her. It says seen her 5-year-old friend, which
You
I'm
know
assuming
what?
they were
I
the same
forgive
age.
her.
Oh God, forgiven. So, given all that happened to her, it didn't surprise a lot of people that at the age of 10, Mary became quite a strange child, and she
became a strange...
kind of withdrawn and became super manipulative, and was always kind of hovering on the edge of violence.
Well, I mean, I could understand how she
Was
developed
surrounded
that.
by it.
Yeah.
So Mary actually grew up in the poor Scotswood area of Newcastle and was exposed to a harsh environment, rife with domestic violence and criminal behavior. So being surrounded by this kind of normalized her own aggression towards people, especially other kids, as well as vandalism and theft. So she was just diving into a life of crime, which we call cream.
Cream.
At the age of 11 or 10.
Like whipped cream?
Whipped cream. So she had really disruptive behavior as well and gained a reputation for attention seeking. This made it easier to dismiss her alarming proclamation.
Proclamation.
There's my
Shrek?
attempt. That's funny. It made her
Proclamation.
people easier to dismiss. Yes, her proclamation of "I'm a murderer," as just like another one of her okay.
Like she said she was a murderer?
Mm-hmm. Oh, just wait.
I mean, it's just like the little girl who is like a compulsive liar and will just say the craziest shit that
And you're like,
at a certain point, everybody's just like, shut
whatever,
the
girl.
hell
Shut up, Sarah.
shut the fuck up. How did you guys do that?
Crazy.
That's so funny.
Wait, how did you
I
both
don't
know that?
I just
I
went.
don't know.
Did
My
you just
first thought
choose
was Sarah.
Shut the fuck up.
That's really funny.
That needs to
Sorry
be
to
something.
any Sarahs out
Right?
there.
No, I
Right?
know some really fucked up Sarah, and she's a stupid hoe.
I
So
agree. That's
there it
probably
is.
why I
That's
said
probably
her
why
name.
you said Sarah.
That's really funny.
Everybody has a Sarah.
Everyone has a Sarah. They really do. They really do. That was good.
That was really good.
That has to be a clip. Thank you. All right. So Mary actually started displaying violence quite a lot. And on May 11th, a few weeks before Martin's death, Mary and her friend Norma were playing with a local 3-year-old boy. Supposedly, the boy fell and suffered severe injuries. But the incident was labeled an accident, and both girls were not punished for it.
Okay. So this Norma must
Mm-hmm.
be kind of great too if she was like so willing to go see a dead body.
Norma is amazing. Yeah.
Whatever happened to Norma?
You'll see.
We find out.
Yeah, this takes us
Does
back
she
to...
die?
No.
Oh.
This takes us back to the murder of 4-year-old Martin. Little
Martin.
Martin. So shortly after his death, Mary and her friend Norma broke into a nursery school and vandalized it with notes taking responsibility for Martin's death and promising to kill again.
Oh.
And there's pictures of those notes online. We could also post those.
Yeah.
Which is interesting. So police assumed that the notes were a morbid prank. And so for the nursery school, this was just the latest in like a string of disturbing break-ins that they had. So they installed an alarm system. So several nights later, the alarm system was triggered, and both Mary and Norma were caught loitering outside of the school by the police. But they were let off the hook. They were like, "Go home, girls." So they did.
Because they're like, what are these two innocent little children going to do?
Yeah. What are these ladies doing in the middle of the night? These ladies, these young girls,
these children.
Yeah, these children doing it. Like I would have been like, "I'm gonna arrest your ass." Like I was arrested when I was 9. I've ever told you that.
What? No.
He was.
All right, side story.
I like how you're throwing your own wrench into your own story.
I know I did. Okay, when I would. Oh my God. We're all right. We're okay.
Kevin almost just dropped his
I
computer.
know, and I just screamed. You should keep that in too. That's embarrassing. Okay, anyway, so when I was in foster care, I was in an all-boys foster home. It was an orphanage. Our foster parents went on a trip, and we all stayed with like this babysitter.
And you killed the babysitter.
And got away
Those
with it.
documents have been sealed because I was a minor. Just kidding. Oh my God. No, but my foster brothers and I, we used to like sneak out and smoke oregano because we thought it was like weed.
Oh
And it
my
wasn't.
God.
My Lord.
Oregano.
So, I know. Little 9-year-old Kevin.
Giving
with
yourselves
my-
massive headaches for no reason.
I don't remember. I just remember them being like, whoa, stupid.
This feels so great.
So we all decided to kind of like run away and go to King Soopers, which is like Kroger, basically in Colorado, to steal stuff. And I was kind of like bold. So I think the first night I stole sunglasses. And then back then they used to have cigarettes out of cases. So then I started stealing cigarettes. Well, on the 5th night, they knew what we were doing. And so yeah,
They're like, these little motherfuckers are stealing shit, bro.
and it was far. The King Soopers that we went to was far. And it was in Morrison, Colorado, and we would like go anyway. Yeah, I got arrested that night by a cop.
my
We all
God.
did, and we were all luckily we were just taken back to our foster home, and we got in a lot of trouble.
But did you
But-
smoke them?
No,
I was gonna say I didn't think you did. Why
I mean,
did
I
you
don't-
steal
I don't
cigarettes
remember.
out of anything?
well,
To feel cool.
yes, and the age range of the kids that were there, like there was somebody that was 4, and then we had all the way to like 17.
And you were what, like
It was 9.
9?
Yeah, and I had just gotten
Gotten sent back.
No, I had just gotten, like, that wasn't long after I went to court and found out that my dad, you know, had signed his rights away and that my biological mom had lost her rights.
Yeah.
So I became a part of the state, like,
Yeah.
you know, at that point. So I remember.
So I'm glad
that,
you chose to steal cigarettes and not kill people.
Yeah, I did not choose to go this route
Right.
that Mary did, but, you know, she had the devil in her. I had Jesus on my side. Just kidding. Jesus does not love me either. But, okay. So, Mary Bell. I went all the way to the beginning with my drop of my computer. So where were we here? Okay.
Yeah, the murders.
The murders. Yeah, I really derailed that, didn't I?
You
Okay,
did.
so shortly after his death, they broke into that school, vandalized and all that, and they got the cops sent them away. They were off the hook from loitering outside of the school with the alarm system went off. So at the same time,
At the same team.
what the fuck is wrong with me? All right, at the same
It's
time,
your teeth.
I know, Mary began telling her, something's happening.
To the teeth.
It's like a, yeah. Stroke.
It's your brain.
It's a stroke.
It's
I
a
don't know.
Okay, let's
Let's not
not
joke
do
about
that.
Like, where's wood?
Cut the tapes.
Okay, so at the same time, Mary began telling her fellow classmates that she's actually who killed Martin. But because of her reputation as a show-off and a liar, people actually just didn't believe her. They didn't take her seriously. So she was just like out freely admitting that she did it.
That's so crazy.
I know. So a few months later, 2 months actually, on July 31st, 2 months after Martin's murder, a 3-year-old little boy named Brian Ho disappeared from a vacant lot near his home. He was found later among concrete blocks.
Oh.
Brian had been strangled and his legs and stomach manipulated by a razor and scissors that were found at the scene.
Oh my God. Why is this like even younger children?
I don't know. So Brian also had an M carved in his stomach, which seemed
Sheemed.
Jesus.
Kevin, you were doing
Which
great today.
seemed, to have first been carved as an N before being turned into an M.
Oh.
And remember the names of these people, Mary
Norma.
and Norma.
Oh, fucking Norma.
So this combined
Is
with
Mary
the lack,
taking it the blame?
no. Well, no.
I mean, they both sound
Yeah.
like great with
So
ladies.
this combined with the lack of force that was actually used to kill this Brian is why the police started thinking, okay, this might be kids that are killing other kids. So
What a terrifying thing to
Like,
probably have to
thing to
process.
think
Being
about.
like, wait, are we dealing with a child? Are we
Yeah.
dealing with a child
that's
killer?
killed this.
Like,
other
imagine
child.
being in the room when you're just like,
Yeah.
this can't be it.
And Martin's, I mean, that was still open. They were
Yeah.
like, well, not they were like this. I think this is an accident, but there was other stuff that's like,
Yeah.
kind of thing. So anyway, Mary had actually, struck again. But this time she actually had the help of her friend Norma. And although Brian died by strangulation, Mary actually went further. So she's the one who manipulated his body with scissors, scratching his thighs and actually butchering his penis. Yeah.
My God.
Wow.
So when Brian's sister, this is horrible, went looking for him, Mary and Norma offered to help. So they all searched the neighborhood, which led to Mary pointing out the concrete blocks that actually hid his body. But Norma was like, oh, he's not there. So they all moved on. So
like she was pointing there to go
Mhm.
there, and they're like, oh no.
Yeah. So
fucked up.
Brian's body was found, obviously. And the neighborhood actually panicked in general because now they had 2 little boys
Yes.
that were dead. And the police were like, okay, this looks like maybe other kids. So they started interviewing local children, hoping that somebody had seen something that would lead to a suspect. So let's talk about the arrest. So Mary and Norma were interviewed, and both did a very poor job of disguising their interest in the investigation in their interviews with the police. So they were like really excited and wanted to like know a lot and like participate. So Norma was quite excited, and then Mary became
That's so scary.
evasive, especially when the police pointed out that she had been seen with Brian on the day of his death. So Mary and Norma also started to have contradicting accounts of their whereabouts during the time of the murder. So they had that first interview. Brian's funeral and burial happens. Mary was spotted lurking outside of his house, and she even laughed and rubbed her hands together when she saw his coffin.
Oh
Ew.
my God.
So this behavior actually caused the police to bring her back in. So they called her back for that second interview, and Mary, perhaps sensing that the investigators were closing in, made up a story about having seen an 8-year-old boy hit Brian on the day he died. And the boy, she said, had been carrying a pair of broken scissors. Well, that's where she made a mistake because the mutilation of his little body with scissors had been kept from the press and the public. It was not
So
known.
nobody would have known
Nope.
about it.
So it was a detail known only to investigators and one of the person who murdered Brian. So both Norma and Mary broke down upon further questioning, and Norma actually began cooperating with the police and implicated Mary, who herself admitted to being present during Brian's murder, but tried to place the blame on Norma. So both girls were charged and a trial date was set. So, trial. These were actually highly publicized crimes because of the disturbing details. And Mary's age made this actually one of the most infamous cases in England's history. So it left many people wondering what could lead a child to commit such cruel and heinous acts. So, yeah. At the trial.
I agree with that.
I know. Yeah. So at the trial, the prosecutor... What the fuck?
You're almost through it. You're at the trial.
At the trial, the prosecutor told the court that Mary's reason for committing the murders was solely for the pleasure and excitement of killing. Meanwhile, the British press referred to the child murderer as evil born.
Well, is she evil born or was she
evil created?
Created, because this is I feel like creation kind of.
Yeah. I don't know. It's like nature versus nurture. Yeah. Right? I don't know. So the jury agreed that Mary had committed the murders and handed down a guilty verdict that December, that same year. So manslaughter, not murder, was the conviction, as court psychiatrists had convinced the jury that Mary showed classic symptoms of
psychopathy.
Thank you. It's oh my God.
Psychopathy.
Thank you so much, Anna, for the win. So because of that, she could not be held fully responsible for her actions, which I think is just bullshit, but that's that.
Yeah. I mean, I feel like anybody would, I feel like a good number of people would look at a child who doing that and think that there was some kind of mental issue for them to do that.
Sure. Yeah.
Especially so gruesome with cutting into people's skin. And
yeah, no, I agree. So Norma was actually regarded, here's your question answered. Norma was regarded as an unwilling accomplice who had fallen under a bad influence.
No.
She was acquitted.
No, she sounded like she was like real
like
into
she was
it.
She was like, yes, let's go see that body. Yeah. Like, little bitch. Okay, so the judge concluded that Mary was a dangerous person and a serious threat to other children, clearly. So she was sentenced and imprisoned at Her Majesty's pleasure, which is, by the way, a British legal term that denotes an indeterminate sentence.
Oh, that's
so
interesting.
As a consequence, Mary was eventually sentenced to indefinite imprisonment. She began her detention at the Red Bank Secure Unit in St. Helens, Lancashire. So what's interesting about this is that the media loved this story, and the public like ate this shit up. So the British press fervently pursued her narrative, and even her mother Betty shamelessly capitalized on the tragedy.
Of course she
sold stories to the press and provided reporters with writings that she claimed were Mary's and more.
That's fucked up.
Gross.
Because you are partially the reason she
fucking Betty
is in this place.
I know. Yeah. So Mary managed to make headlines again in September 1977 when she briefly escaped from prison.
That happens a lot in our stories.
I know. But she was caught just a few years later. This is why when you're driving down the road, don't pick people up.
Right?
No.
No, I don't ever want to. I'm sorry, I'm not going to pick you up if you're hitchhiking.
No. I know. Even remember, I was listening to one of our old episodes with the New Mexico one with the girl, and I was like, no, I'm going to leave you and I'm going to drive down the road. And I was like, wow, that sounded really bad. But I was like, but that was safety.
No, but seriously. Yeah. Especially if they're like covered in blood. Like in that one, it seemed, if I'm remembering correctly, she was like naked and
like
bloody. Like, sorry, fuck no.
Yeah. Like, I'm going to help you, but from my own safety.
I will drive down the road and call the police.
Yeah. I'm not
I'll
touching you.
Hang out to make sure nobody comes and steals you. But yeah. Okay, so let's talk about where she is now. And you guys are not going to believe this because remember, it was manslaughter. So after 12 years, Mary was released from prison. Ugh. She was 23.
12 years?
Yeah.
Oh my God.
So she embarked on a new life.
For killing 2 children?
Yeah. So 23 years old, which you're young, right? Like that, you have your whole life ahead of you. And these other little boys had no life.
You get an indefinite sentence, and they're 12 years later. All right.
And that's the idea. Like, can somebody be rehabilitated? I don't know.
I don't know. I don't care to find out for myself.
I know.
But I feel like there's a severity of crime, right?
Yeah.
And this is a pretty severe crime.
Yeah. So 23, and she embarked on a new life, totally anonymous, new identity. And on May 25th of 1984, she gave birth to a daughter.
Oh.
Which, remember that date?
Like the same day
she killed Martin.
Oh my God.
That's really fucking creepy.
So what's interesting is that reporters eventually found her and unveiled her whereabouts. And the duo mom and daughter had to like move and leave and flee. So what's interesting is that on May 21st, my birthday of 2003, a significant legal victory, Mary secured a lifelong, I'm not going to say this.
Anonymity.
Thank you.
You're welcome. This is the first time I've ever.
I actually wanted to say anonymity.
I wish you did say it. I should have allowed you to say it first.
I know the word. Anyway, that for lifelong, for her and her daughter by a ruling of the High Court. So the court ruling protected the identities of her and her daughter. And then created this entire ruling.
Like witness protection
I feel
program,
like
except
that's so
you're the
unfair.
person that murdered somebody.
Listen, they actually created this. It's to protect the identities of certain convicts who are released from prison.
No.
And it is unofficially referred to as Mary Bell orders.
No, I'm sorry. That should not be a thing.
So
I think anybody should be able to have the understanding if somebody in their life has murdered somebody or not.
I'm really curious, like what she did to prove that she was like mentally
like
sane enough for all of this.
I don't know, because so some don't feel that she deserves this protection, obviously. So June Richardson, which is actually the mother of Martin, told the media that it's all about her and how she has to be protected. As victims, we are not given the same rights as killers.
Not in this case.
Which I'm like, Jesus. So in 2009, she became a grandma.
Oh, good for her.
So she got to experience this whole life.
And these other two children
Yeah.
didn't even get to like barely live. It was what, 3 and 4? Like that's disgusting.
Yeah. So, yeah.
Ew, so
Mary.
she's like out there somewhere potentially.
Yeah, I mean,
when was
could
she
still
born?
Be alive. She was born in 1957. That's like your parents' age.
Yeah, no, she still could be alive.
Yeah,
She would be in her
she's
70s.
70s. Yeah, which is like
No, 60s.
57.
60s. She
Yeah.
would be in her 60s. Cool. Now we'll have somebody else after us.
Mary
Just kidding.
Bell, we know you. We see you. Rude.
Well, technically, we
So,
don't know who you are now
We don't
because
know who
you're
you
in
are.
protection.
Yeah. And I don't need to know who you are.
No.
But here's the thing. She has to live with her decisions.
Yeah, for sure.
And I can't imagine that doesn't come back in her mind.
Yeah.
You know,
I
and
would
maybe-
imagine
maybe
it probably
the
comes into her
worst-
mind quite a bit.
I mean, I just hope
maybe
she's not
it's-
perpetuating that abuse onto
Agreed.
her
Agreed.
child
Onto
and
her own
her
kid.
grandchild.
Yeah.
Like,
And hopefully she's not out there killing more people.
I'm sure
Just in
she's
general.
not. I mean, like, I'm sure she's not. But what's interesting though is that I sometimes I think that the worst punishment is your own mind.
Oh, yeah.
So, maybe she is living with this deep, deep, deep regret.
I wonder if killing like that was some like fucked up way for her to like. I think she wanted to get caught to kind of escape
Kinda
her
sounded like
situation
it.
because her
Yeah.
situation was so dire.
was
The way
bad.
that you were
Yeah.
describing it, like
Yeah.
to be put into sex work at like 5 years old, like that is just. I mean, yeah, maybe
It's
she
also-
did this as a weird way to escape, and then
Sure.
once she had escaped,
Yeah.
she was able
But
to
then
show
my-
them that she had changed in some way. I don't
But
know.
then my
Yeah.
thought also goes to sex work at 5 years old. What
That's not-
man is doing that to a 5-year-old?
pedophile.
A rapist.
I just my mind.
Somebody
cannot
that's okay
fathom-
with taking
Unfortunately, they
advantage of
are
a
not
child.
that few and far between.
No, I know, it's
I
disgusting.
know, which is just, yeah. That's when those moments where I'm like, oh my god, like there are things I think that can truly and significantly impact, and maybe that was her acting out in the revenge of these older men.
Yeah.
Oh, for
we
sure.
don't- you never
well, I
know.
mean,
You never
she obviously attacked children who were younger than her that she could
And they
take
were
advantage
both-
of, and that
they were
she
both
could
little
dominate.
boys. Yeah.
Yeah, and so she probably felt powerful over them,
Yeah.
and it probably had nothing to do with who they were, just the fact that they were there,
Yeah.
and she felt like she could, and it
I know.
doesn't make it any better that she did it. It's awful.
She's still an asshole.
She still killed people,
Yeah.
but like, it's hard to not have a little bit of sympathy for what she went through, because who
Yeah.
knows, if none of this happened, she could just be a normal grandma that we wouldn't even be talking about right now.
Well, it's interesting too, because I think people can be predispositioned to have the strength to maybe get through those moments.
Yeah.
And then some don't. And so the way that this is how they deal with that trauma.
Yeah.
I don't know.
What I've heard is it's like a mix of nature and nurture.
Yeah.
It's like some people there are psychopaths or whatever that if they didn't have childhood trauma, it doesn't trigger, and they just become like
They're
a
just
highly successful,
Yeah,
normal
smart
person.
people.
Yeah.
Or they murder.
Or they murder.
So that's that. Episode 20.
Yeah, there you go.
No.
They all worked. They were all appropriate.
Holy shit, that was good.